Hi, we're Olga and Paweł, and we'll host today's live stream for you. We're just going to wait for a minute or two more to give everyone time to gather up, and we'll start shortly. If you want to grab some snacks or drinks, this is the time to do so. Let us know if the audio works okay, let us know if the video works, or if there are any technical issues at all that we should address. This is the time to do so. Okay, we got some signals that we can officially start off with our live stream. So once more, welcome everyone. We're Olga and Paweł, and we're going to be your hosts today. In this live stream, we're going to cover a few topics. We'll go through some history of the ER champs. We'll go through this edition, and then we will move on to the best practices for how to play the game, and we will end up with a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, write them down and ask them towards the end of this live stream.
So the whole initiative of the championship started back in 2017, and it was called Poland Escape. It was a brainchild and a passion project of people behind LockMe, a widely known and widely used website about everything escape rooms in Poland, as well as Exit 19, one of the companies that operates and runs escape rooms in Wrocław. And their goal was to promote escape rooms as a fun form of entertainment and as a great way to spend your time. And I think they succeeded, as we have the 6th edition upon us that you are going into tonight. The very first edition in 2017 started with an online riddle, something like Zest, for example. But this time it was a virtual walk across the city of Wrocław, and the first edition was in Polish only, so you could only play if you knew Polish. There were regional eliminations as the next step that took place in major cities all across the country. And finally, there was the finals that took place in the first half during Wro Escape, a conference on everything escape rooms and themes around it. And the very final step took place in Asylum, one of the escape rooms operated by Exit 19, and one of the best escape rooms in Poland right now. So it was pretty interesting.
And the next two editions follow suit. So we had the 2018 and 2019 championships. They had a very similar structure, with part of them being held offline and part of them being held online. On the picture, in the picture you can see the prison puzzle that supposedly only one team got through, which was quite an interesting thing to see. And also these were the editions that brought us the infamous cake puzzle, if you remember, and the toilet one.
Yeah, and there was a particular anecdote in one of the online elimination stages about one of the partners, chyrońpesel.pl, where you would figure out a number that you needed for the puzzle, and a lot of us, including ourselves,
guilty as charged,
called the number to talk to a very nice lady on the hotline, saying, sorry, this is not a part of the puzzle. But we did get in touch with chyrońpesel.pl, just trying to think outside the box.
But do you want me to call any numbers tonight that we can guarantee?
With 2020, the pandemic changed the world, and Poland Escape had to adapt. So the whole championship saw two major changes. First of all, we went online only with no offline stages, no eliminations or finals that would take in real life escape rooms. And we changed the name from Poland Escape to ER Champ. This marked opening up to an international audience with multiple players and teams from all across the world taking part, and even having media coverage in multiple languages on the way.
All right, so we've had a little bit of history, that's all behind us, and let us move on to this year's eliminations and this year's championship. First and foremost, we wouldn't be able to host these championships without our main sponsors. So give a big shout out to our organizer, LockMe, and our sponsor, Board and Ice. If you don't know them, check them out, check their websites, and thanks again. They were also able to provide really nice prizes for the winners. And let's talk about what you can win. The winning team of ER Championships of 2022 will take home Nintendo Switch Lite consoles, one for each team member, and a $200 voucher for the Board and Ice online store.
Don't forget eternal glory as the champions of the 2022 edition.
Obviously. The second place will win a set of LockMe games, which are right behind us, and a $100 voucher for Board and Ice online store. And the third place will go home with same game set of LockMe games and a $50 voucher for Board and Ice online store.
So just to quickly remind you, everything this year is fully online. We don't have any offline stages. We don't have any eliminations taking part in real life escape rooms. Tonight you're going into the elimination stage, and the 100 teams with the best times of completion will be invited to play in the final, which takes place on November 26th. This year marks another big change, and the organizers approached and invited more people to join the program team rather than just doing everything by themselves. And some of us answered, and some of us joined the program team to help designing the puzzles, designing the game, preparing everything for you tonight and in the finals. The program team, besides gentlemen from LockMe, Bartosz Dzikowski and Jakub Caban, is Kala Janowska, Krystian Dowolski, Brian Gondek, my wife Olga,
and my husband Paweł. So there is more of us to blame this year.
Yeah, if you don't like any particular puzzle or any particular step, don't blame everything on Bartek and Jakub.
This could have been us.
Over the last few weeks, we held stress tests that were meant to help us iron out any issues with the servers, the performance, and hopefully we managed to introduce some changes that should result in improved performance for you this year, meaning you hopefully won't run into any freezes or any bugs or any other technical issues. If you do, just let us know on Facebook. The stress test was also the introduction to the overall narrative of this year's game. And don't worry, you don't need to have played it. If you haven't, that's completely fine. You don't need any information from the stress test. You don't need to know the puzzles. You don't need to know what happened. But let me just recap it for you. The stress test had you, the players, take part as employees of a very particular clinic, with VIP clients arriving tonight for treatment. Your CEO requested you to check if everything is ready, if the equipment is all ready and available, if everything is up and running correctly for VIP clients. So you did all of that. You calibrated the main control panel, and you are ready to receive your first client, who you will meet very, very soon.
But before you go into the clinic and discover its secrets, let's cover some best practices for how to play the game. Basically, our point and click game is like any other escape room that you've ever been to. So the main point is you don't need any additional information. All you need to solve the puzzles is within the puzzles themselves. So there is no need to Google anything, there is no need to use additional tools or programs. All you need is a browser, and remember that each player needs to have their own device and their own browser on where they can work. Also, remember, again, as in every escape room, that you have to communicate. So if you find something, let the other players know. If you struggle with anything, just talk about it, and I'm sure you'll find a solution really soon.
We've gathered some frequently asked questions that appeared in the comments or on our fan page or anywhere else, and also some questions that were frequently asked during the previous editions, and we'd like to answer them for you now. If you have any other questions, anything that is not covered in the questions that appear on the screen, feel free to type them out now and keep asking them in chat, and we will get to the chat questions as well.
All right, and the first question is, will there be an open program team next year?
Yes, the intention is to have an open program team next year as well. The experiment has been a success, I think, and I hope that everyone else on the program team thinks so as well. You don't need to have any specific experience, any specific knowledge, or any specific skill set. This year's edition has the program team coming from all walks of life. If you just think you would like to join the other side, if you think you would like to be on the designing end rather than struggling with the challenges, then feel welcome and encouraged to apply next year.
And as Paweł mentioned, remember that you don't need any particular experience. Paweł is an experienced puzzle designer. He co-created a game called Zest, but myself, I didn't have any experience at all coming to this. But the thing that is important is just to have a fresh overlook at things and propose some new ideas.
Is there a chance to go back offline for all stages, or at least for eliminations or finals next year?
Well, the short answer is that we'd love to, but it's just too early to tell. Because there are a lot of factors that need to be taken in. For instance, what's happening in the world, like what's happening with the COVID situation, and where we stand with our sponsors. So we just don't know. We'd love to, but we'll see. All right, and the next question is, will there be a live studio like this with the recap before the final stage?
That's the plan, that's the intention. So in 3 weeks you will also see us in a live studio like this, when we will try to recap and get you up to speed and refresh your memory on what happened so far, so that you can go into the finals refreshed and prepared. How long do you think the eliminations will take?
Honestly, we have no idea. But the time limit for this stage is 4 hours. So that's all we're giving you tonight. We actually expect most teams to finish a bit earlier, but again...
Knowing you, some might finish in 30 minutes. So
we hope not, because we really put a lot of energy into creating this puzzle, so we hope that some of them will stop you for a while, but yeah, the time limit is 4 hours today. All right, and someone in my team can't make it today. Can I still play?
You can, but please keep in mind that you need at least 2 active players at all times. So you won't be able to play alone, unfortunately. So if your only partner can't make it, I'm sorry. If you have at least 2 active players, then by all means go ahead. You should be able to do everything just fine. How can we ask for hints when stuck?
Well, unfortunately, you can't. We believe in fair play, so there is no way that you can ask hints, exchange hints, anything like that is just off limits. So please remember not to do it. If you get caught, you might be or will be disqualified. So just don't do that. We want all players to have a fair chance in the championship. So this
remember, it's a contest. So
there are some nice prizes to be won. All right. How can I repeat a technical issue?
You can report anything you find odd or wonky or not working, or if you think you are stuck because of the servers acting up or anything like that. Please drop a comment under any of the recent Facebook posts. These will be monitored, so we will be able to verify what might be happening and get back to you as soon as possible. So just reach us on Facebook. Do I need to save my progress, and how do I do it?
You don't need to do anything. The progress is saved automatically in the browser, so again, there is no need for you to do anything. This is also why you needed to have an account set in the system, because some of you have also asked that. Again, no need to do anything, no need to worry, your progress will be saved automatically. And the next question is, you're gonna like this one, is the game story necessary to solve the puzzles?
Everything is perfectly playable, and you can solve all the puzzles without paying too much attention to the story, and you don't need to remember any story details, any bits, or know anything from the stress test or from any of the upcoming elements that you might encounter tonight. But if you completely ignore everything that's happening, my heart will be broken, so please don't do that.
Don't make him cry.
Should I have played any of the previous editions?
Well, it's not necessary. All the games are completely separate. They are separate games. They have different puzzles, different storylines, so they're not connected in any way. So the short answer will be no, there is no need to. But if you want to have some kind of a warm-up before the finals, it is a good way to do it. Maybe today is a bit too late to do so, but if you want to have a go afterwards, please do. All right, and the next question is, one of my players can only stay for an hour and then needs to leave. Can we continue with one player less?
Sure, but keep in mind that you still need at least 2 active players at all times. You might run into issues otherwise. So if you expect one of your players to need to walk their dog or take a break or go run some errands and then come back, please be mindful of your environment and maybe don't do that in the middle of a puzzle, and try your best to have at least 2 people present at all times.
If you want to walk your dog, just go now.
Yeah, now is the best time to grab a drink. Now is the best time to have a break. So go ahead. So, do I need to play with the same team tonight and in the finals?
Yeah, you do. You're stuck together. There are no switcheroos. So if you're in your team with your husband, sorry, no backsies here. All right, and this is an interesting one. Where can I give feedback after playing tonight?
You can reach us on Facebook under any of the recent posts about this year's edition, or if you prefer to be less open about your feedback, please reach us via email. We would love to hear anything you have to say about this edition. So any puzzles that you particularly liked or that you found to be difficult or that you enjoyed solving, any elements that didn't work in your experience or something that you particularly loved, please let us know. This will be really valuable for upcoming editions. Especially
given that this year's edition is a bit different than the previous ones, with an open program board, and you might find that the puzzles are slightly in a different...
If you'd like to complain about a puzzle or something that I prepared for you, I would love to hear that.
All right. And I think we've covered all the questions that we gathered up in the comment section, but this is the time for you to ask some questions that we haven't yet addressed.
We have a question from Charlotte in chat. How many teams are registered so far?
We have a little bit more than 1,000 teams, so quite a lot of you out there. Thank you for that. We're really pleased
Several thousand players. That's really nice.
that so many of you are going to be playing our game. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we have a fly as an uninvited guest. We believe this might be the same fly that attended the previous live stream that Bartek was presenting. So we have a regular.
We have another question from the chat. Will this page reload after the live stream?
Yes, and you don't need to do anything. You just wait for 3 minutes and it will load automatically. All right, we see another question popping up. It's a question from Anya. How much time earlier do you start designing the puzzles?
This is a lovely question. Thank you, Anya. We started and we kicked off the designing phase of this year's edition back in June. So you might imagine how long did it take. Everything took us really long hours, and we started by a kickoff meeting with the main organizers and just meeting everyone and just throwing some random ideas of what we want to do this year, how we'd like this year to play for you, and how we'd like you to get engaged with it. We needed to decide on what kind of setting and story we're going into, and there were a couple of great ideas, but ultimately we needed to settle on just one.
So before even going to design the puzzles, the first step was to design the environment, the setting, what we would like you to discover tonight.
We really wanted to have the puzzles and the setting and the locations that you are about to get into to run together, to don't be at odds with each other. So hopefully that worked out. Let us know in your feedback. And before we even started designing any puzzles, we wanted to have that agreed and have a good idea of where we are going with it. As for puzzles themselves, I think that everyone on the program team has their own approach to it. I would design a lot of them by hand in a notebook while on a train or while traveling somewhere with my wife, and
sticky notes on our table.
Sticky notes on the table, a notebook with handwriting. There is somewhere still on our desk. Olga would drive and I would navigate and just keep typing ideas. So everything is all over the place while designing.
All right, we have another questions. This one's from Joy. How did the server test on Thursday go?
I think it went fine. We were able to confirm that the changes to backend are actually effective, and hopefully you will not experience any of the major lags or freezes that you might be familiar with from previous editions. So also please let us know if you run into anything. And after the whole thing, let us know, especially if you have played the previous editions, let us know if you feel it was more smooth or more laggy, or how did you find this year's edition. A question from Karolina. Do we need sound to play?
You don't. The game doesn't require audio. We'd love to, because it would give us some possibilities for some very nasty puzzles, but it would be really heavy on the server side. So no, you don't need audio to play. All right. Question from David. Are there any rebuy? However you write that, thank you, our technical team.
David is asking about a rebus type of puzzles. I'm not going to tell you anything about the contents of the game or the puzzles that you are going to encounter. I hope that all the puzzles are varied enough that you find them engaging and challenging, but fair when you are playing them. So hopefully you will see that there are multiples of different puzzles and design approaches rather than just one way.
Yeah.
Shimon asks, can you brute force one digit of solution or the order of numbers or letters?
Well, you can brute force all you want as long as you're successful. Well, it's not breaking any rules. But the way we design the puzzles, it won't give you much wiggle room for brute forcing. So one may try, but it's best just to go through the whole puzzle from beginning to end.
Yeah, the puzzles as they are designed won't give you much of an advantage if you try to brute force anything, even if it's just one of the letters or digits.
But if you try and if it works, just let us know. All right, a question from Julia. How much do you make on the how much do you
jam?
make? Eternal glory.
Eternal glory. So we are here just for fun, for free water. You know, we need to water our cats from time to time, and water prices are going crazily up. We are here just because we played all the previous editions and we wanted to give it a go to take the other side of things. So,
and to be fair, we never were quite successful as the players, so we thought, why not try to be on the other side?
I actually like designing more than playing. So if you feel this might be something for you, again, just apply for the program team next year, because it's super fun. And I can't recommend it enough. So as for money, nothing for us, and for the rest of the team, as I said, it's a passion project. So not really anything else than publicity and fun for everyone involved.
All right.
A question from Dan. You said before that teams can't change before the final stage, but can someone be added to the team today after the start?
Unfortunately, that's not an option. As we mentioned on Facebook, the final changes have to be done, I believe,
yesterday,
24 hours before we start. So unfortunately, it's not possible from the technical point of view.
Your transfer window has closed yesterday. I'm sorry.
Okay, and the last question from Łukasz. How many teams are from Japan?
We don't have this kind of data right now. Sorry, I can't answer it even if I wanted to. But I would say a lot. So expect fierce competition this year as well.
All right. And we'd like to thank you for showing up, for listening to our live stream. We were delighted to have you here. And, well, good luck.
Good luck. Have fun.